Welcome, everyone. Today, we are exploring better conversations, a blueprint for improving how we connect with one another. This work is authored by Jim Knight, a research associate at the University of Kansas, who has spent over 2 decades studying professional learning and instructional coaching. Knight argues that our schools and lives are only as good as the conversations within them. This presentation will provide you with the foundational beliefs and practical habits necessary to transform your interactions from top-down directives into true partnerships.
We often face a state of radical brokenness, a term Knight borrows from Desmond Tutu to describe how isolated we feel despite being constantly connected via technology. The culprit is often top-down communication, where we treat others as objects to be influenced or manipulated rather than partners. The antidote is fostering mutually humanizing conversations. As Margaret Wheatley suggests, we can change the world simply by listening to one another again, ensuring every person feels heard and understood.
To improve, we must use an inside-out framework. It begins with our mindset, the 6 core beliefs that serve as internal prerequisites for partnership. These beliefs then drive our behavior, manifested as 10 specific communication habits. However, knowing is not doing. We must bridge the gap through application, using tools like video recording and reflection forms to see our current reality. The ultimate outcome is a foundation of trust, built through credibility, care, and connection. True partnership requires a shift in how we view others. You cannot fake a good conversation. Your actions must align with your beliefs. There are 6 pillars: seeing partners as equals, wanting to hear their voices, and respecting their autonomy. We must also remain non-judgmental, understand that conversation is a back-and-forth exchange, and believe that interactions should be life-giving. When we position others one down, we inadvertently create resistance and hinder professional growth. We must move away from traditional top-down conversations, which are often active power struggles or ping-pong games where the goal is to win the argument. Instead, we strive for dialogical, better conversations. In this paradigm, the goal is mutual learning and shared meaning. David Bohm describes this as a stream of meaning flowing between participants, creating something new that didn't exist before. This shift creates a safe environment where everyone can think together. The 10 habits are categorized into 3 areas: receptivity, exploration, and resilience. Receptivity, the yin, focuses on empathy and witnessing the good in others. Exploration, the yang, involves fostering dialogue and asking better questions to find common ground. Finally, resilience, the glue, is about making emotional connections, controlling toxic emotions, and building the trust necessary to sustain relationships. Together, these habits provide the structural architecture for effective interpersonal communication. To foster true inquiry, we must practice conversational generosity. This means being authentically curious and asking questions to which we don't already know the answers. We should prioritize open-ended opinion questions that start with why, what if, or how to create space for our partner's autonomous voice. Most importantly, we must be non-judgmental. If we use questions to make statements or trap others, we destroy the psychological safety required for a better conversation. When communication breaks down, we need a practical methodology to manage destructive emotions. Name it, reframe it, and tame it. First, name it by identifying situations where your hot buttons are pushed and using the 5 whys to find the true source of anger. Second, reframe it by adopting the stance of a listener or learner rather than a combatant. Finally, tame it by implementing strategies like buying time, rewinding the tape, and avoiding assumptions to maintain control. Trust is the compound result of applied beliefs and habits. It is like the air we breathe. We only notice it when it is gone. It is built through 3 core components: character, competency, and reliability. Character involves honesty and transparency. Competency is our ability to perform and deliver actual results. Reliability is the repeated experience of our actions matching our promises. When these factors align, we create the safety necessary for deep, meaningful, and candid professional connections. There is often a gap between what we think we do and what we actually do. We all have tacit knowledge, unconscious habits, or behavioral tics we aren't even aware of.
To confront this, Jim Knight strongly recommends video recording your conversations. Seeing yourself on camera provides an objective baseline to measure your empathy and dialogical flow. While it may feel awkward initially, it is the most powerful catalyst for permanent improvement in how we interact. To internalize new habits, Knight provides a reflection framework consisting of 3 types of forms. Looking back forms help you analyze past recorded conversations to identify your default behaviors. Looking at forms allow you to clarify the mechanics of a new habit, such as tracking your talk-to-listen ratio. Finally, looking ahead forms are for planning future interactions, defining the contextual information you need, and setting intentional goals for your next conversation. Continuous improvement follows a flywheel effect. We start by internalizing beliefs about equality and autonomy. This mindset allows us to practice habits like empathy and dialogue. We then record reality using video to capture explicit data on our performance. Finally, we reflect and plan using the coaching forms to adjust our behavior for the next cycle. Each rotation of this flywheel deepens trust and strengthens relationships, making better conversations a standard part of our culture. In conclusion, learning to inquire together about what matters is some of the most significant work we can do. Knight calls dialogue the final frontier because it allows us to truly know ourselves and our relatedness to all of life. Better conversations are a mutually humanizing force that can transform schools and workplaces. Your journey to becoming more credible, caring, and connected doesn't start in a workshop. It starts with your very next interaction.